And another thing with the tourist vacation thing is if she freshly moves somewhere as well, like if she just moved, let's say she's from Kansas and she moves out to LA, she's gonna be way more receptive, way more open than a girl who's been staying in LA, or even than she was when she was in Kansas, right? When a girl is in a new environment, even if it's going to be permanent, when she first gets there, there's gonna be a period where she's much more receptive and she's gonna wanna latch on and like, you know, attach herself to somebody in some type of way. What up, YouTube? It's your boy Marv Over Matter back with another video. And today what I'm gonna talk about are 3 situations where girls will be more receptive to you, right? 3 situations where girls will be more receptive to you. So this idea about this video came to me because I was having a conversation with one of my subscribers in the comments, and he said something about, you know, American girls seeming like they're more assertive when he meets them over, and I think it might have been the UK. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think it might have been the UK. And he was like, yeah, girls are more you know, receptive, and they're just easier, basically, quote unquote, when I meet them, you know, out here in the UK. And I was like, okay, that's funny, because I feel like when I meet foreign girls here in the United States, they're a lot more easy to get than, you know, American girls. To the point where me and my friend actually used to have a running joke where it was like, if you bagged a girl that was like foreign, it doesn't count because that's just too easy. Like it's not challenging enough, right? So that's kind of the experience I've had here. So then he says, you know, that's actually a good point. And it's funny because I think just in general, when girls are on vacation, they're just a lot more open, because they don't have this fear of, like, you know, the people they know judging them for maybe hooking up with a guy, or, you know, just being more forward with the guy, or, you know, being more receptive to a guy. They don't have to worry about the judgment of what they do, you know? So I thought that was a really good point. And I'm like, you know what? That is very true, right? So that would be the first situation that I'll cover, is that when girls are on vacation, when they're, you know, tourists to somewhere, they're way easier to engage with. They are way more receptive for those reasons that he stated. They don't have to worry about judgment, right? Even myself, if I'm on vacation somewhere, if I go somewhere, there's a freedom that comes with that, right? I don't have, it's almost like you're not really, it's like you don't have to face the consequences, the social consequences of your actions, right? This is why people, when they go away on spring break, they act crazy, but when they come back, they might be somebody you never would expect to act like that, right? There's an escape of your reality almost. That's what kind of like what vacation is. It's like an escape from your reality, where, you know, people will go out and do crazier things than they normally would. And dating has a lot to do with that, like hooking up and all this type of stuff. You know, your chances fare better when you're dealing with a girl who's not in her normal environment, right? That's a key, right? So if you're somewhere and you can figure out where like the tourist girls are, where like if you live in a tourist city, you'll know this already. Like I live in LA, and I know for a fact foreign girls, when they're here, are just way more receptive. They're just way more receptive. But if wherever you live is not really a touristy place, this isn't gonna help you too much. But you know that if you travel, when you pick a place to travel to, pick a place that has a lot of tourism, and you'll get that experience of having the girls be much more receptive to you, right? So that's one example of when girls would be more receptive to you. That's one circumstance. But after having that conversation, I thought, okay, what are some other situations in which girls are just more receptive than normal, right? So I got 2 more for you. One is kind of like, be careful with it, right? The last one, I'll save that for the end. You got to be careful with that one. But the second one I'll say is when you're being introduced by a friend, right? If you can find somebody that knows the girl you're interested in to introduce you to the girl, right? And kind of put in a good word for you, it's going to make the girl a lot more receptive. People in general, but women specifically, when it comes to dating, are much more open when they're introduced through somebody that they know. When they're introduced to you through somebody that they know. they're gonna assume that, okay, this person is not a crazy, all the things that they would be scared about and kind of worried about, just instinctively, if you cold approach them, or if they met you on a night out, all the really fearful things that they might think, like, okay, is he crazy? Is he gonna hurt me? Is he gonna kidnap me? Is he I don't know, is he gonna do whatever crazy thing they can imagine beyond what I just said? All that kind of gets wiped away when you get introduced through somebody. Now, they might have the lingering thought, like, okay, I mean, let's just, they're still gonna have a little bit of a guard up because they don't know you. I mean, sometimes they won't at all, but sometimes they might. But even if they do, it's not gonna be to the same level as when they meet you for the first time by yourself, you two just interacting, right? So it's a great situation if you can be introduced, or if you can like meet through friends in a friend group situation where, I don't know, somebody has a get together or like a house party or something that's very exclusive. That's going to be one of your best times to meet a girl. She's going to be much more receptive to you. So having friends and having a social life is going to make meeting girls easier. A lot of times it is. It's if you have a big enough social group, a wide enough social group, and it doesn't have to be very tight knit, right? That's probably going to be a worse situation. If you have like a fluid social group where it's like, you have a bunch of like people you're kind of cool with, and they might invite you here, they might invite you there, but it's like a spread out kind of like, I guess not social group, social network is a better term. If you have like a kind of a social network where a lot of different types of people, different people that aren't all in the same group, and then they kind of bring you into their world, and you can meet those girls, and those girls will be much more receptive because you're getting introduced through that friend in all these different environments. So that's a key, right? People call that social circle, right? That's really going to make meeting girls easier, is using social circle. And this is another reason why I think cold approach doesn't really work that well, because it doesn't have that safety. There's the possibility that, okay, let's say she finds you attractive, but beyond that, she's going to be worried about her safety. She's going to be worried about certain, depending on the environment, depending on how you cold approach, depending on, your energy when you walk up. Like, you can meet a girl through being introduced, be a little uncomfortable, be a little shy, and she's going to be like, okay, he's just a little uncomfortable, he's just a little shy. If you meet a girl out and you're kind of uncomfortable and shy, she can be like, okay, he's uncomfortable, he's shy, but he also might be crazy. He also might, why is he so weird? There's just way more of a barrier to entry, when you don't get introduced. So that's another situation. Now the third one, like I said, this one is iffy, because it's like, it could be all right, but it could be bad. It could be you kind of taking advantage. It could be seen as that. It just depends on, your motives, I guess. But when a girl is freshly single, that is going to be a time where a lot of times she will be more receptive. She just will, right? She's going to be more receptive. Now, you could end up just being a rebound guy, and that's not necessarily the best situation if you like the girl. If you don't mind being a rebound guy, be the rebound guy, right? But when a girl is freshly single, she's going to be more receptive. She's honestly going to be looking for guys a lot of times. Not all the time. Not all girls are like that. Some girls just go into themselves and they don't want to interact, or they just want to, it's just all girl, hang out girl time, you know what I'm saying? Hot girl, whatever they do. But there are a lot of girls who, when they do freshly break up, they kind of like need to move on to somebody else. You know those girls, like, when you're growing up and there's like the girl that everybody likes, right? And you're like, okay, she's got a boyfriend, whatever. And then you turn your head and you like, she's with a new guy. You're like, wait, when was she single? When was this point where she was single? That used to happen to me so many times, like growing up, where there was a girl I liked, and then it's like she always had another boyfriend, like before I even realized her and her last boyfriend broke up. And that's because that's a thing that a lot of women do, is they'll just go from one boyfriend to the next boyfriend to the next boyfriend. Or once they get older, like from one guy to the next guy to the next guy. And not necessarily saying that they just bounce around from guys. I'm just saying they don't spend a lot of time by themselves. So when they're alone, they're like kind of either on the hunt or very open to interacting with guys. So that's a point where you can come in And I don't know, if you feel like this is a girl that you really like and you want to, take it further than just a hookup, you can do that. But if you want to just hook up, you can do that. Like, and this, however you want to interact with her, that time when she's single, when she's freshly single, is going to be a time when you have the opportunity, when she's going to be very, very receptive to you, right? Because she's going to be feeling lonely. She's going to be feeling like, a lot of girls in general just don't really spend time alone. They don't like being alone. They don't want to be single. Even the single ones are not really single, right? They're still talking to different guys. They're talking to guys, they're entertaining guys. But the reason those girls are not receptive is because after a while of doing that, after they get like comfortable doing that, they realize they can be single, but still get the benefits of having male attention, having males, men pay for things for them, having males do things for them. Right, so they'll still be perpetually single. That's like the opposite side of it, the flip side, the girls that are perpetually single. And those girls I would kind of watch out for. I wouldn't want to, I would kind of steer clear of those girls. This is just a side note in the video. The perpetually single girls, because no girl is really single. So that means she's just messing with guys but doesn't want to commit to a guy, right? So what does that mean? She's trying to get something from him. She's trying to get something from guys. Right, so be careful of those girls. But the girls who are always in a relationship, right, when they're in that transition period, that is your chance, I guess you could say. But that's also when they might come up to you and they might try to deal with you, and you do it, you decide what way you want to take it. But that is a time where she will be more receptive than usual. So those are the 3 times when girls will be more receptive: when she's on vacation or like a tourist somewhere, maybe she just moved somewhere, she's fresh to an environment, she's gonna be very receptive. And another thing with the tourist vacation thing is, if she freshly moves somewhere as well, like if she just moved, let's say she's from Kansas and she moves out to LA, she's gonna be way more receptive, way more open than a girl who's been staying in LA, or even than she was when she was in Kansas, right? When a girl is in a new environment, even if it's going to be permanent, when she first gets there, there's gonna be a period where she's much more receptive, and she's gonna wanna latch on and attach herself to somebody in some type of way. And you could be the guy that, she engages with, interacts with for however long y'all plan to engage or interact, right? So that's another thing with the vacation tourist type of deal. But yeah, those are the 3 situations. That the tourist situation. If you're getting introduced through a mutual friend, that's another situation. And then when she's freshly single, that's another time when she's going to be more receptive to you. Now, like I said, I'm not saying any of these to be manipulative. It's just that this is the reality of the situation. When she is in these situations, she's going to be more receptive to you. All right, so that's the video for today. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Drop some more topics in the comment section. I got my coaching calls in the description box, Instagram in the description box, and you know what it is. It's mind over matter, Marvel over matter. Let's get it.